Hello and welcome. You're watching To The Point. The exit polls have given us a clear indication of what outcome to expect from the 5 state election results awaited on Thursday. Last night, the focus was on what it means for the concerned states themselves, but these results could also significantly affect national politics, and that's what we will discuss today. What does victory mean for the BJP and defeat for the Congress? What impact will this have on Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, as well as Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi? And what bearing will the outcome have on Mamta Banerjee, Sitaram Yechuri and Karunanidhi? Beyond that, what will it also do to the Rajya Sabha? And what about next year's presidential elections? And if you want to look even further, could it have an effect on the national elections of 2019? Those are the issues we shall tackle tonight. My guests are the chairman of the Hindu newspaper, N. Ram, CPM spokesperson Fuad Halim, the Finance Minister of West Bengal, Amit Mitra, Congress spokesperson Khushbu, and BJP leader Sudhanshu Mittal. Mr. Mittal, if the BJP wins Assam for the first time and gains seats in both West Bengal and Kerala, as the exit poll suggests is likely, will you consider that an outcome that wipes out the memory of the Bihar and Delhi debacle?
I would put it differently. There were question marks on the leadership of both Narendra Bhai as well as Amit Shah ji. Today, this is the result what the exit polls are suggesting. Then I would say it is a vindication of the good work which is being done by both. And certainly it's a tremendous moral booster, especially when for the first time ever, BJP is going to make inroads in Northeast, which is phenomenal. Plus, we are increasing our vote share both in West Bengal and Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So all in all, what the exit polls are showing is tremendously of great satisfaction to BJP.
Khushbu, on the other hand...
Yeah, just one thing I'd like to add, Karanji.
Yes?
That while... okay, go ahead.
No, please finish, go ahead.
I was just wanting to point out one more thing that, while everybody was trying to put us in the dock, after these results, do we realize that Congress Mukt Bharat seems to be becoming a reality? You see, right now, Congress is in only 8 states, which is Assam, Kerala, Uttarakhand, Himachal, Meghalaya, Manipur, Mizoram and Karnataka. After losing both Kerala as well as Assam, they will be reduced to 6 states with only 42 Lok Sabha.
Okay,
seats from
let me in fairness, so Mr. Mittal, put that question to Khushbu. Since I have a Congress spokesperson, let me in fairness put that question to Khushbu, because that's precisely what I was going to ask her. Khushbu, if Congress loses Assam and Kerala, which the polls suggest is likely, as Mr. Mittal has pointed out, you will have lost 2 out of the 8 states you have, and most people, including Mr. Mittal, who was rather pleased about it, would see that as a serious setback for Congress. How would you convince Mr. Mittal he's got no reason to smile?
I'm smiling too, but I'm not going to come and concede and say that there's going to be a huge setback to Congress. Ups and downs of winning an election or losing an election is part and parcel of any political party. We have seen where BJP has come from to the bottoms, and we have seen to the maximum heights what Congress has been to. This is all part and parcel. This is not going to affect us. If we lose Kerala, of course, Mr. Tarun Gogoi, the Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, has said that he will take up the entire responsibility if we lose Assam, as the exit poll says. Then yes, we'll have to look into it, and we have to do an introspective as to where and how we have been going wrong. But then when you look at the local body elections in Delhi today, we have invented into Delhi, which is the a complete kingdom of AAP and BJP. We see that we have gained 5 seats, and that too in the places in the local body where Congress has never made it. So we have a vote share where for 29. We're talking about states, yes, but then there's always a way of coming back. Okay. We are not going to look at this and say that okay, it's a setback, and we are going to sit back and we're going to sit and cry. We always look at it in a very, very positive way.
Absolutely, Khushbu. Both the Hindu faith in the concept of karma and the Christians believe in resurrection. There's always life after death. Amit Mitra, all the 5 polls in Bengal show Mamta Banerjee is winning. But the interesting thing is that 4 out of the 5 show that she could end up losing between 11 and 31 seats compared to the number she won in 2011. Now, if that is the outcome, how would you interpret the result?
No, first of all, we have to wait, Karan, for the 19th. I don't want to jump the gun. These are trends. These are exit polls by different people. But you would agree that all exit polls show, by and large, that we will have a very comfortable majority. In fact, one exit poll gives us as many as 231 to 250 odd seats out of 294. Then you come down to about 165 to 175 to 180. Wide variation.
But you're delicately sidestepping what I pointed out. That 4 out of those exit polls suggest that compared to 2011, you're going to be losing seats. You may win back power, but 4 polls say compared to 2011, you're losing between 11 and 31 seats.
I think, first of all, I don't believe that. But even if you were to hypothesize that, please remember 2011, we had fought along with Congress. This time we fought alone against 3 people. The CPM, 34 years of governance in West Bengal, misgovernance, Congress as well as BJP. We've taken all of them on alone because we feel that the governance level and the development level of Bengal will speak for itself vis-a-vis the voters.
Okay.
So I would say the matrix is different. I think we will have more seats than we had before. So I'm not ready to accept any of this. We'll wait for the 19th of May, and you will see, Mr. Thapa, that we've come out way ahead of what
you may well. I'm going by what the polls are suggesting. You're absolutely right, and it's a prerogative to wait till the 19th. Fourthly, all the polls suggest that the LDF is winning Kerala comfortably. And once again, 4 out of 5 polls suggest that you could possibly improve your tally in Bengal as well. That is to say, compared to 2011. If that is the end result, would this be, first of all, a significant victory for Sitaram Yechuri, your new General Secretary? And secondly, would it establish his primacy over the Karat faction of the CPM?
I think so. Reducing the entire democratic exercise that the people in Kerala, West Bengal, and we fight seats in Tamil Nadu, we fight seats in Assam, all these places, to reduce the entire democratic exercise to whether it's Karat or Yechuri, I think so is unfortunate. Karan, one has to understand that 2016 is where the left is going to come back significantly as far as Indian politics is concerned. We will definitely move closer to.
Why are you overlooking the fact that it was Prakash Karat as General Secretary who presided over your defeats in 2011? And if there are victories in 2016, it's under a new General Secretary who happens to be Sitaram Yechuri. And we all know that they're not just friendly rivals. At times, the rivalry between them can be pretty bitter too. You may not want that to be made public, but it's a known fact.
Well, well, the entire party takes responsibility for decisions that are taken, and many a time the entire situation, how contradictions arrange themselves, and the fallout of the contradictions definitely defeat us, and that's the legacy of history. Okay. And we learn from history and we correct ourselves, and the entire party corrects itself. There are differences of opinion, and those are resolved. But having said that, coming to this present elections, in Kerala, we are significantly placed. In Bengal, we will definitely increase our numbers. The exit polls definitely indicate something in that direction. And it is already a moral victory for us in Bengal, because the Trinamool has 203 seats, and they are not very convinced themselves that they are going to achieve that figure. You know, 203 out of 294 is something that they are not going to achieve. So they are going to lose seats. So until the 19th, we already have a moral victory. The government victory question will come.
I like the way you phrase it. Until the 19th, we already have a moral victory. That's wonderful. You've given yourself 3 days of feeling morally superior. You are really a superb politician. You have a way of converting defeat into potential theoretical victory. I applaud you. Enram, in Tamil Nadu, the DMK and Congress fought together, and the Congress contested 41 of those 234 seats. Now, to rule on its own, the DMK needs at least 118. Is that possible? Or will the DMK be dependent on Congress, thus giving Congress some measure of leverage in Chennai?
I think it's eminently possible, Karan, because in Tamil Nadu, I don't know if you can just go by history, but if you go by history, it's very decisive one way or the other. And it, as you know, it alternates every assembly election from one assembly election to the next. So it's entirely possible, it's eminently possible that the DMK would exceed that number of, 234, so you're talking about 117.
Well, 117 is actually 50%, so 118 to be a majority. They would be able to do
that comfortably, I think.
All right. Mr. Mittal, the problem for the BJP...
They'll do that comfortably. In fact,
Sorry, carry on. Carry on, Ram.
No, that was the echo of what I said.
Okay, my apologies. My apologies. They've obviously got a small technical problem there. Sudhanshu Mittal, the problem for the BJP is that these state election results won't necessarily help you in the Rajya Sabha, where Mr. Modi possibly faces his biggest problem. For instance, today's Hindu says that of the 6 Rajya Sabha seats in Tamil Nadu that are going up for election in June, and that's just next month, the DMK and Congress presently hold 3, but now, after the predicted result, they could end up controlling 4, possibly even 5. And that means the measure of support the BJP gets from Jayalalitha in the Rajya Sabha will shrink just when you would want actually support in the Rajya Sabha to grow. So there is a flip side here which is not necessarily good news for you.
Karanji agreed that there will be a loss of 1 seat. It can't be 2. As per the results which are being projected, there could potentially be loss of 1 seat. Well, that's it. But at the same time, we are increasing our tally by at least 8 more seats. You know, we're getting 2 more seats in Rajasthan, we get seats in Jharkhand, we get more seats in Madhya Pradesh, we get more seats in Maharashtra. So there's a lot of addition to the seats. But the fact still is, yes, the composition of Rajya Sabha is such that BJP will not be in majority in this forthcoming elections. That's a fact of the matter. And the dynamics of the Rajya Sabha is such that, well, it is difficult to manage the opposition there. Yes, that's a reality. I mean, you can't run away from what the reality of the constitutional provisions are. That is it. However, after these elections, I see at least a lot of change vis-a-vis a lot of parties towards what are the issues before the center.
All right.
What are the pro-people policy which needs to be supported by a lot of people. You see, till now, because of the electioneering,
let me stop with
resistance to supporting a lot of
I'll take up the issue you're raising.
TMC.
I'll take up the issue you're raising in a very substantial way in a moment's time. But let me move to Congress to put to them another downside they face. Khushbu, this is a downside that Mr. Modi made famous with his taunting slogan that he wanted to make India Congress Mukt Bharat. The problem is that once you lose Kerala and Assam, the only big state left is Karnataka. Apart from that, you've got 3 northeastern states, and you've got Himachal, which you could end up losing next year there when the elections are held. So slowly and steadily, and very possibly not that slowly actually, Congress Mukt Bharat is happening. And that taunt from Mr. Modi is going to grow louder and louder, and you're going to hate it more and more.
We are not here to hate anyone. I think when it comes to democracy and secularism, there's no larger party than Congress who believes in these 2 words right from the bottom of the heart and the soul. Yes, we are going to face difficulties, but then what are the difficulties that Congress hasn't faced? We have seen the biggest downfall, and even if we have to see the biggest downfall, we still have 3 more years for the Lok Sabha elections to happen, so you never know what's going to change what. There are other few states which is going to go into election next year, so we'll wait for that. 2017, we'll wait for that. You never know how it's going to change. I mean, BJP has not been able to make any entry in when you talk about any of the southern regions. We're talking about the exit polls. It says 0 to 3 in Kerala. So it could be 0, the same in Tamil Nadu. They have not made any impact in Tamil Nadu. They're not going to win even a single seat. So they have not made an entry or made an impact anywhere within these southern regions. Yes, we are facing difficulty times, But it's perfectly fine. We are prepared to face the difficult times and come back. And as far as the distant dream of Congress Mukt Bharat is concerned, it's never ever possible, because India can never be, Bharat can never be without Congress.
All right, I applaud you for that answer. I think your spokesman should learn to be as honest as you, because you're disarming in your honesty when you accept that you face challenges, but you face them before and overcome them, and with luck you'll overcome them again. Furtherly, your party, the CPM, faces a very interesting challenge after these results, because what's happened, and this is one of the most striking features of these results, is that the Muslim community across India has voted tactically. But in Bengal, where they were once upon a time your most loyal supporters, they seem to have voted with Mamta, not with you. And in Kerala, it seems that they've stayed loyal to Congress and they haven't switched over to you. So do you accept that in your two main heartlands, Kerala and Bengal, you're failing to attract Muslim support?
Well, I think so. It's very clear. If you go through the elections that have been held in West Bengal and Kerala, the Muslims have never voted en bloc. In fact, it's a myth to understand that the Muslims are a bloc and they vote together. If you look at West Bengal, Murshidabad and Malda, which are Muslim majority districts, the Trinamool Congress has never had any MLA or MP of significant numbers from here. So even if you look at Dinajpur, it's either the left or the Congress that have held seats from here. So one has to understand that the Muslims in South Bengal have definitely supported the TMC, but overall they don't have a single psyche on the basis of which they take decisions. So that's an unfortunate interpretation, and I do not agree with that. So we have definitely made inroads among the minority communities that have supported Trinamool traditionally, and the results on the 19th will reflect that. And the people in West Bengal, the minority and the majority community, have a legacy of the land reform movement. They have a legacy of the trade union movement. They have fought shoulder to shoulder, and those experiences and those bondings, they will survive a number of political, what you call, onslaughts that this bonding will face. And
all right,
definitely that's a secular
you sound like someone who's remembered that wonderful epithet, blood is thicker than water, and you're still hoping that there's a link of consanguinity. Amit Mitra, one of the striking things about what the polls predict in Bengal is that this is the only state where anti-incumbency is not toppling the incumbent government. Sitting governments in Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Assam all look in danger, but not Mamta Banerjee. And the question I want to ask you is this: what impact will this have on Mamta's relationship, firstly with her party, and secondly, what impact will it have on the way your party functions and behaves in Parliament?
I think on the first question, Mamta Banerjee, as you know, has two elements which distinguish her. One is she works with her heart, where she has a connect with the common people, that is known to you. The second, which is not commonly known, she has, as an administrator, has held 104 meetings on implementation at the district levels, not in Kolkata. And that is how the massive developmental implementation, as you know, governments don't often walk the last mile, but it was that last mile and implementation that she put together, and the financial support came from there.
What about?
And therefore the first thing is, as far as she is concerned, people endear her, that you know, but they also see the fruits of development which they've never seen in 34 years of the CPM's governance here. And the second question you asked, in relation to Parliament, let me submit to you, in Parliament, Trinamool Congress consistently has taken a logical position, even in Rajya Sabha, where the test was the highest. We have rejected bills which we felt were anti-people in the land case. We have supported bills where we see we are in a way pioneers, which is the GST 2009, it was in our manifesto. So Trinamool takes a very carefully debated, logical position in Parliament, and that will be the position we will continue to take. Take on merit what happens in Parliament, keeping the people in mind in terms of their lives.
Enram, if it happens, what would defeat mean for Jayalalitha? given her present ill health, which is widely speculated about, and given the possibility that her legal appeal in the Supreme Court could actually go against her, does she face an ominously dark future?
Yes, I think there's a huge challenge for her, but she's not, she's really a brave politician who's faced setbacks, gone to jail, been convicted, then acquitted, come back twice, and so I think that's she has it in her to weather this storm, I think. Yes, in this election she didn't campaign as she used to, and the question is she distancing? Is she getting reconciled to a future? That's the question before us. But whatever our criticisms of their policies, the corruption charges and so on, one must, I think, admire the spirit of both the opposition leaders, Jayalalitha as well as Karunanidhi. In the sense, there's a certain equanimity about their response to defeat and
well,
victory.
yes, absolutely. They can stare at it straight in the face and accept it in the hope that next time round they'll win. Sudhanshu Mittal, in my very first question to you, you said something that surprised me. I asked you whether the result in Assam would wipe out the debacle of Bihar and Delhi. You answered by saying that the bigger and more important question was, would it have an impact on the question marks raised about Amit Shah and Narendra Modi? I was really surprised by that honesty. So let me ask you, what are the question marks that the BJP internally had about Narendra Modi and Amit Shah? Because now if they're going to be wiped out, share with us what those questions were.
No, there was no question mark within the BJP about their leadership. It is the media and the opposition which raised these question marks. So I am analyzing them from the reaction we witnessed from the media as well as the Congress and the other political parties. I still remember the headlines. Modi loses faith, people lose faith in Modi. Modi is in the dumps, Amit Shah a failure. All kind of headlines were there. I said, one defeat in a state assembly. Does it merit this? But no, everybody went hammer and tong. But I'm so happy now. People will have to eat their own words. And I heard Khushbuji's very words, which I call them pearls of wisdom, that one defeat here and there doesn't make a difference. Jeete hain, haarte hain. Please remember that next time if somebody loses, you shall again propound the same words of wisdom, which you are consoling yourself with. What is critical?
Remember something. Your party too has bounced back from the very nadir of defeat. In 84, Rajiv Gandhi reduced you to 2 seats and you controlled no states at all. It took you 30 years, but today you're the predominant party, so there's always hope provided there's time and you continue. Congress has that same hope as you had in 84 when you were left with just 2.
I am absolutely with you, Karanji.
Good.
Karanji, I second what you're saying completely. I do not write off any political party because of a defeat or because somebody is won, that there is perpetuity in that victory. No.
You're a
Indian
gentleman,
democracy
sir.
is a very vibrant
You're a
democracy,
gentleman, sir, but as a journalist, I'm not as considerate or as kind as you. I'm going to, in my question, suggest, Khushbu, that your party is very close to being written off. Because the problem is this, after these results, the hole that you find yourself in is getting deeper and deeper. And my question is a simple one. Does Rahul Gandhi have the capacity or the talent to dig you out? Or is he going to bury you instead?
Rahul Gandhi definitely does have the capacity and the courage to bring back Congress. We are going to look at it at 2019. And I'm very sure that in 2019, when we look at the Lok Sabha polls and the elections and the results of 2019, I'll be right here in front of you, Karanji, as a spokesperson of the party, and with the same smile telling you that how Congress has not taken 30 years to come back, but just 3 more years, and 2019 we are back under the leadership of Mr. Rahul Gandhi.
Tell me something. With what other than wishful thinking do you make that claim?
We trust Mr. Rahul Gandhi. There's a trust of the parties on him, there's a trust on Sonia ji, the wisdom and the political advices what Sonia ji gives us. So there is, and we have so many senior leaders in the party. You just cannot write them off, you cannot write off the kind of experience they've had within the parties. So yes, like I said before, ups and downs are there, but you can't write off Congress, never ever in India.
All right. Trust, I suppose, is another form of loyalty. And Ram, the question no one knows the answer to is who will Karunanidhi support at the national level? Congress, his present ally, or the BJP, with whom he had earlier formed an alliance and was part of their government as well when Vajpayee was Prime Minister? After all, now he needs the centre's support perhaps more than he needs Congress's support, particularly if, as you say, he forms a government without any help from Congress in Chennai. So what do you think he'll do? Continue to be an ally of Congress, switch to the NDA, or will he field both to his advantage, keeping both national parties in suspense?
I think, Karan, he'll stay with the Congress. It'll be too much of a reversal soon after an election to switch. They did that before, I concede that, but I don't think, given the present situation, there's any serious chance of the DMK moving to the BJP's camp. It's possible that on some issue on which they believe strongly, they could break ranks with the Congress, but I think they will stay with the Congress till the next Lok Sabha election. I'm pretty sure about that.
All right, let's take a break at that point. When I come back, I want to turn to the situation in the Rajya Sabha and focus on that more intensively than we have. Could we see a significant change that produces the GST that we've been waiting for? Could we see greater compliance, more harmony? What about the presidential election? Will the outcome of the elections which are announced on the 19th affect the next coming presidential election? And finally, is there anything we can sense in the air regarding 2019? All of that's in the impact of the state election results on national politics. Mr. Halim, let's take up something that you heard Sudhanshu Mittal mention in part one. The fact that Mr. Modi hereafter could have an easier time in the Rajya Sabha. And I suppose what Mr. Mittal has in mind is that it's possible that if Mamta Banerjee loses seats, which 4 out of 5 polls suggest she will, she may choose a line of neutrality or even side with the BJP. And I suppose it's also possible that the DM could do the same. So do you think that the pressure in the upper house as far as Mr. Modi is concerned will reduce hereafter?
Well, it's very clear that the Bharatiya Janata Party is cozying up to the Trinamool Congress. If you listen to what their state president here in West Bengal said, he said that they will be the deciding factor in the next government, which means that if Mamta is short in numbers, he is willing to provide it, provided the people of Bengal give it to them. That's a bit of wishful thinking, but anyway, he's taken that position. And if you look at the past record of the Rajya Sabha, you will see that the Trinamool has behaved in a way in which BJP could get away with a number of things in the Rajya Sabha. You know, they appropriately timed their walkouts, they supported the number of bills brought in by the BJP government. So that bon hobby is there, and the BJP has reciprocated by pushing the pedal a little slower on the Sharada scam. We've seen the delay in the Narada scam by the Lok Sabha Ethics Committee, all these things taking place. So that bon hobby, I think so, will follow through even if Mamta doesn't form the government, whatever numbers she has.
I think even if Mamta doesn't form the government is a bit much to say this evening, when it seems from the polls pretty certain she will be forming the government. But Amit Mitra, let me ask you a specific question. Will the obstacle that's held up GST in the Rajya Sabha now ease? Is Mr. Jaitley right when he says to the Business Standard, as he did yesterday, that GST will pass in the monsoon session?
Look, you are aware, Mr. Thapar, that in the GST case, we made a very clear case that no revenue can be lost by any state when you introduce GST, because that will ruin GST. That part of our contention, even we wordsmith it, and that has been placed in Parliament, that particular amendment, which was our principal position. Now the question is, there are 3 issues that are on the table put across by Congress with regard to the GST, one of which absolutely is a red herring and probably that will not fly. The other two, the BJP seems to be considering as reasonable. For example, 1% additional benefit to producer states, which was proposed, by the way, by
and the other
Gujarat
one?
in
And
the
the other
Impart
one?
committee meeting
And
when
the
I
other
was
one?
there. And the second one is the judiciary becoming the arbiter of any dispute between states.
So
This
what's
is
your
not
answer to
acceptable
my question?
Anybody that the federal structure would be challenged.
But what's your answer to my
Yes.
question? Because
I
what
think
in fact
if-
Mr. Jaitley was saying to the Business Standard is that Congress's opposition hereafter won't matter because he's got the numbers to get the 2/3 majority from everyone else. Do you agree or do you disagree? Tell me that.
You see, no, I think the numbers calculation has not happened. Mr. Jaitley has made that statement, perhaps thinking of certain adjustments with the Congress proposals.
Okay.
As far as we are concerned, Trinamool has supported GST.
Quite right.
Will
You said that
continue
earlier,
to
sir.
do so on principle.
You said that earlier,
Because
sir.
our
I'm
basic
stopping you
principle has been
because I'm
fulfilled.
running short of time. You made that clear that you supported it earlier on principle. Khushbu,
Sure.
will Congress, after what some in the press consider a bit of a battering, be more cooperative in the Rajya Sabha?
I think as far as Congress is concerned, we have always worked for the betterment of the people. When it comes to GST, Mr. Arun Jaitley is saying, the finance minister is saying that he doesn't need a support. Let me remind you, democracy is about having an opposition. If you do not have a democracy, if you do not have a opposition, then it's just called dictatorship.
But the question is a slightly different one. Forgive me interrupting you. The question is this. Mr. Jaitley believes with the change numbers in the Rajya Sabha and after the battering you faced at the state elections, your attitude will A, change, and B, even if it doesn't, he has sufficient support to get that 2/3 from other parties. And what I'm therefore asking you is, will both of those factors compel you to take a different line in the Rajya Sabha?
No, as far as the well-being and the development of this country is concerned, we have fought for it and will continue fighting for it. I don't know why Mr. Jaitley is saying that he may not need the support of anybody else because he thinks he's going to have a single Rajya Sabha power. But let's wait and watch. Let's not jump to the conclusion. We still have to wait for the 19th as to how many number of seats they win or how many number of support they get from the other alliance parties, or what is it where the TMC supports them or not. So we'll have to wait for that. But then the stance which Congress has taken, we will stick to our guns. We are going to say that which is not the right way to serve the people of this country. We will continue doing that. We are not going to soften our stance.
You remind me of that line from the poem, ours not to question why ours, but to do and die. Right? Do and die sounds rather a dangerous proposition when you're reduced to such small numbers. But Mr. Mittal, how confident are you that GST
it's not a do or die.
How confident are you, Mr. Mittal, that you will pass GST?
I'm pretty sure that the coming monsoon session would see the passage of GST because no more posturing can sustain public contempt to this blockade of good legislations. You see, what has happened is, if you've seen the last Rajya Sabha...
Well, just a moment, Mr. Mittal. You successfully held up GST right through the 5 years of UPA 2. You held up GST successfully during the 5 years of UPA 2. You might suffer the same fate at their hands now.
Sir, we are talking about what is happening now. In the last Rajya Sabha session, you saw the disruption was minimal. And people's reaction to what was happening has compelled all political parties to look at good legislations which are beneficial for the interest of the people and pro-nation. So GST being acknowledged as pro-nation by everybody, I think the public pressure will compel everybody to go for it. More importantly, you had raised a point about presidential elections. I just will take 1 minute to just explain this to you, that total there are 10,89,948 seats and votes for the presidential election, out of which 1,64,000 come from Rajya Sabha, 3,84,000 comes from Lok Sabha, and 5,49,000 come from various Vidhan Sabhas. The position as of now is that NDA has 4,96,853 out of these votes, and UPA has only 2,17,698. Others, which are a whole lot of other people, are 3,36,919. So UPA is not so comfortably placed, and BJP and NDA is very comfortably placed to have a person of eminence as the president of this country. So I don't see a disruption of political activities which should go with the government just because Congress or others are in a position to disrupt them. I don't see that happening.
Let me test your confidence on the presidential issue with Enram. Enram, a question that's risen, and it was one that I was anyway going to ask you, is whether these election results will make it easier for the BJP to get a person of its choice made the next president, or tougher. And the real issue is, with the left winning in Kerala, the DMK more importantly in Tamil Nadu replacing an ally Jayalalitha there, and Mamta returning with perhaps the same strength as she had before in Bengal, will it be more complicated for the BJP? Will they now have to struggle to achieve a consensus which could be harder around their candidate? Or do you agree with Mr. Mittal that this is going to be quite a cinch for them?
I don't think it makes any significant difference, these elections, to the choice of our next president. But I hope that the consensus will evolve, not somebody who's partisan, committed to a particular ideology, and so on. Somebody who's broadly acceptable, really eminent. And one candidate, I guess, would be our vice president. He's certainly somebody who is widely admired. He's got experience. He's not a congressman today, and I think he could be one of the candidates. But they must go for somebody who's widely accepted.
So leave the choice to
Otherwise,
us.
it's going to be divisive,
Sir,
and you'll
don't
have
start campaigning for individuals. Leave the choice to us.
Rashtrapati Bhavan drawn
You
into.
may, Ram, actually be doing a disservice to the vice president
I can
by
speak for myself.
suggesting his name yourself.
You can't tell me who I should support. I should favor as president. So there's no need to leave the choice to you.
Sir, don't misuse it.
Gentlemen, let's extricate ourselves from this. Let me go instead to Amit
Naturally,
Mitra.
people who are at the helm of affairs with the number of votes.
Gentlemen, I think it's unfair of us to be talking about the vice president's potential candidature for a job for which he has not even put his name forward, and he's being spoken about by others rather than by himself. I don't think that's fair to the vice president. So I'm going to stop this particular conversation there. Amit Mitra, what about 2019? Are there any straws in the wind suggested by these results that could affect or in some way suggest an outcome in 2019?
I think it is very clear that the euphoria of 2014 with regard to BJP has started slipping. The Achhe Din has not come. Major reforms have not happened as people expected. So an anguish of the people on this divisive statements by ministers as well as members of parliament of BJP has created a huge problem. On the other hand,
Can I interrupt there? Can I interrupt there? It can't be such a huge problem if the BJP wins Assam for the first time and possibly goes on to win seats in Bengal and Kerala for the first time either. So that anguish is translated into good fortune rather than a problem. Are you sure you don't want to reconsider this?
May I submit that this perception of that BJP sliding is known, Congress's sliding is known, but I am proposing that in 2019 you will see a new matrix evolve where the regional forces that you've talked about have won in every case and winning everywhere, and therefore there could be a new matrix where with the BJP not so euphoric and slipping, Congress absolutely withering in many situations, a new possibility where Mamta Banerjee is bound to play a significant role. There's no question that regional entities on a federal polity has emerged in India in a serious manner with following of the common people. So you have to look out for the 2019 a new matrix.
Let me put that matrix not to one of the politicians, because I doubt that they'll agree, and they will certainly have their own party position from which they'll answer, but I'm going to put it instead to Enram. This new matrix, as Mr. Mitra calls it, comprises in fact regional leaders, none of whom have any great support outside their state. each of whom sees the other as a rival, every one of whom wishes to be Prime Minister and thinks he has or she has an equal claim to that job. Do you believe they can unite to form first a credible party, and then can they find sufficient commonality to have a similar ideology? And finally, is that what's really going to be the opposition to the BJP in 2019? 3 quick questions which I'd like you to answer quickly, because I'm almost out of time as well, Ram.
Yes, Karan, I entirely agree with Mr. Mitra on this. This is going to be the time, the next election is going to be the time of a conglomeration of regional parties. There'll be difficulties in achieving that, but the numbers, I think the arithmetic in the Lok Sabha will determine that, and I think that's what is going to happen. That's staring the BJP in the face, in the Congress in the face as well, of course. So I think I would agree with him on that. Whether Mamta Banerjee will play a greater or lesser, I'm not going to get into that, but it will be a combination of regional forces, with Congress possibly acting as a junior partner, forming the government. But that's speculation. But I agree with Mr. Mitra.
All right. You have every right to agree with Mr. Mitra, but let me say to you that this matrix could be multi-headed and full of rivalries. For instance, would Fuad Halim's party want to join up with Mrs. Banerjee's? Or for that matter, would Nitish Kumar want to join up with Mulayam Singh Yadav? I see your fingers are going up, but I'm answering for you myself. I think this matrix looks more like a theoretical possibility today than a real challenge to either Congress or the BJP. But as they say, who knows? If a week is a long time in politics, 3 years is an eternity in India.
सबको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, लेकिन दिल के खुश रखने को गालिब ख्याल अच्छा है.
Vava Saab, you are a poet as well. My thanks to you for giving us the most appropriate end to this particular discussion.
Insinuation.
Go ahead, sir. You said something about insinuation.
Yeah, I would like to protest on the insinuation of Mr. Mittal of BJP soft peddling with Trinamool. We fought them on the ground.
All right,
we disagreed with them on divisive
I'm out
policy.
of time. You may not have played footsie now, but don't forget Mamta Banerjee was twice a member in a BJP cabinet, and even after resigning over Tehelka, she came right back and took the same job again. So footsie, whether above the table or under it, is a game that politicians love to play. And I'm afraid we've run right out of time at that point. There are intriguing possibilities that are opening up for the future of Indian politics. We've only just about touched on them, but clearly the next 3 years look like being a lot of fun. If you have been, thanks for watching. Goodbye, good night.